Okay, here's warm-up number 10.2. We have some factoring review. All right, so always want to be looking for a common factor. On this first problem, it does have a common factor. 3 goes into both terms, so I'm going to factor out the 3. I'm thinking 3 times something is 3x, that would be x. 3 times something is negative 15, that's negative 5. And that's all we can do. That is factored. Okay, next problem. There's no common factor, but nothing that goes into all 3 terms. I'm going to set this up with a diamond problem. So I know if this is factorable, which it is, it's going to look like that. I just need to figure out what goes in the back of each parentheses. So I'm going to set up a diamond problem. I'm going to put the 7 up on top and the 12 on bottom. And this is a little puzzle. I'm looking for 2 numbers that add up to 7 and the same 2 numbers multiply to 12, and I'm going to put those numbers there and there. So let's kind of think through the options. So multiplying to get 12, we could do 1 and 12. I'm just using integers here. 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. Now we could also do the double negative versions, but the double negative versions definitely aren't going to add up to positive 7. So the only combo that is going to work here is 3 and 4, and you could switch the order of them. It doesn't matter, but it's a positive 3 and a positive 4. So that's what goes in the back of my parentheses, and now this is factored. And you could always check your answer by foiling it back together. Should get you here, or up here you could distribute the 3 back in. It should get you back to 3x minus 15. Okay. All right, and next one, same kind of deal. There's no common factor here, so I'm just trying to figure out what goes at the end of my parentheses. Many different ways to do this. I use the diamond problem, but if you got a different method that works, great. All right, so the thing to watch out for with this diamond problem is the negative needs to come with the 9. Okay, so now thinking how to multiply to get 18, I've got 1 and 18, or 2 and 9, or 3 and 6. All of those are going to add up to positive things though, but wait a second, I can use the double negatives. So these are all my integer ways to multiply, to get to get positive 18, and I do now have a combo that adds up to negative 9 as well, and so that tells me what goes in the back of my parentheses. And these 2 factors, you can write them in either order. So if you put the x minus 6 first, that's fine, but it should be a negative 3 and a negative 6 at the back of your parentheses. Okay, let's try another here. No common factor again, so it's going to factor like this. Okay, adding to get negative 8, multiplying to get negative 20. I always start with the multiplication side, kind of with my brainstorming, because if I'm adding to get negative 9, you could get into things like 100 and negative 109. It's an infinitely long list for the addition, but using integers for the multiplication side of things, there aren't that many options. So there's one option, or I could do that, but those don't add up to negative 8. Okay, or I could do 2 and negative 10, or negative 2 and 10. And there's others. I could use a 4 and a 5 as well, if one's positive, one's negative. But I already found my winner. There only should be one winning combo, so you don't really have to list all of them. You don't have to list them at all. You can kind of just think through them in your head, too. But 2 and negative 10 is my winning combo there. That's what goes in the back of my parentheses. So again, you can change the order of these, but make sure that the 2 is positive, the 10 is negative. If you have a negative 2 and a positive 10, it's not going to work out. Okay? This last one, I've got this coefficient in front of the x squared, so that can make things a little trickier. So anytime I see that, the first thing I think is, wait a second, can I factor that out? Is that a common factor? And if you look at the other 2 terms, hey, these are all even, so I can factor out a 2. So let's go ahead and do that. If you can't factor out the 2, then it gets more tricky. But this one is not too bad. So I'm kind of just dividing those parts, dividing a 2 out. Now don't throw away the 2. Yeah, I divided everything by 2, but I factored it out actually, so it's still going to be part of my answer. So my final answer is going to be in this format. So if you leave the 2 out of that, it's not correct. Okay, and then I can factor this trinomial using a diamond problem. Okay, multiplying to get 3, there's really only 2 options, and I'm going to use the positives there. So this is going to be a positive 1 and a positive 3, and it's completely factored, and that's the end of the warm-up. and I will see you next time.